Hello, I am Adriana. I'm a SoulPath Mastery teacher and guide. This is a reading for Leo, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus in Leo. We are going to look at you and someone that you're in a relationship with. This could be platonic, romantic, familial, or otherwise. But what we're really looking for is the big spiritual message behind what's going on in this relationship. Okay. Nine of Air. Okay, so even before looking at the rest of this, Leo, you are learning about self-created anxiety, what it means to over-process in your mind and what that actually does to you and your experience of reality. It's funny because paranoia starts in the mind, right? When you have paranoid experiences, our mind believes something about the outside world, and then that colors our behavior towards it. And then the way the universe works is wherever we're vibrating, that's what the universe thinks we want to experience. So someone who has a lot of paranoia may actually experience things that give them a reason to be paranoid. So, and that's all because of what they're attracting based on what they're thinking. So that's an extreme example, but the other thing is fear. Whatever we are afraid of and whatever we focus on for a long amount of time with a lot of emotion, that's what we draw to us. So let's just keep an eye on that. And interesting, because the rest of the cards really don't what's the word? They don't anticipate this card for me. So that's interesting. You've got the Ace of Water. The other person has the Chariot. And then the future / the advice, we have the Strength card. So interesting to me, 1 + 7. The Chariot is card number 7. The Ace is a 1, gives you 8. The Strength card is 8. And then even more than that, the 1 + 8 is 9. So why am I doing, we just lost the Strength card. Why am I doing all of this math? Because there is definitely a connection between these cards and between the energy of the numbers behind these cards. So Leo, Ace of Water is the beginning of a connection. And what I feel like here is this is like a relief. You're connecting with someone who kind of feels like a breath of fresh air, but you also feel, because everything is so fresh and new, there is this overwhelming sense of relief. I don't know if you've been struggling in the past and finally you have like this delightful companion in front of you, but there's something in your soul that is really relieved by this connection. Maybe it's easier than other ones. Maybe it's just a little bit different and lighter, but there's this, just again, this overwhelming sense of relief. And the other person, we have the Chariot, and it's funny, they're not necessarily focused on you, but they're definitely focused on moving forward. So I feel like this other person wants to push things to a different stage than you do. The Ace of Water is a lot more flowing and receptive. The Chariot is more willpower and driven. And you're seeing things differently. Chariot also indicates that the other person might be pretty involved with their own, what's going on in their own lives or their own projects or work or something. And so the relationship might not be the top priority for them, because you don't often see like the softer, warmer emotions with the Chariot. So, you're kind of starting off on different pages here. You feel that openness, that newness, that refreshment, and they've got this driving going forward. And I feel like in the future we have the Strength, which is going to cause a couple things. It's going to cause a moment where you both have to come together. That's the 1 + 7 = 8, the Strength card, and establish some boundaries and really be honest with what's going on in each other's hearts. And for some reason, Leo, I see that this is going to be a little harder for you than for the other person to really, and that's odd because this usually isn't hard for Leo, but to express what's going on in your heart. That's the 9 of air here. You're a little reluctant to do that. And sometimes I also feel that when a relationship is so new, sometimes we don't want to like go out of that initial state where everything is so wonderful and fresh and different, and we haven't learned about the quirks of the other person, or we haven't kind of seen the ugly sides of them. And so what's left is like you're creating that in your imagination, and of course you're kind of in love because you don't know what what little dark demons are waiting for you. But there's kind of a sense of that I'm getting with the Ace of Water. It's like you don't want to go past this initial stage because it's so good right now. But the strength, when there is a darkness faced, when one of those demons, are going to drag it in the back here, when one of those does come out, that's the opportunity to deepen the relationship, to understand that it's the acceptance of flaws that really starts to build the foundation of a strong relationship. And that could also be what the 9 of air is saying, that you're worried one little thing going wrong, or one little flaw, or one little part where you can't line up or see eye to eye, then that's it. That means that it's over, it's done, you're never going to get back that feeling of joy. And that's really that's an unfortunately limited and shallow way of looking at things. Relationships have to be tested over time. It's not just about that first blush. This is about understanding that as you become more honest and open, there is more chance for love to come through. That the love that you're feeling here is only a 10th or a 100th of the love that you will feel here once you've gone through something a little challenging, once you've had to courageously come forward and say, this is how I really feel, this is who I am, this is what I'm okay with, this is what I'm not okay with. And although you're feeling this exhilaration and relief right now, I think in the back there is that waiting for that moment of and thinking that it's going to be worse. When the moment of truth comes, it's going to be worse than it actually is. And the more you fight that moment of truth, the harder it is going to be for you, but it doesn't have to be that hard. It could be easier. So how does Leo release that 9 of air? Seven of fire. Okay, you have to acknowledge, Leo, which of these demons you are self-creating and which ones are real. Do you have evidence to support what you're afraid of? Do you have physical evidence or logical evidence to support what you're afraid of? If you don't, then this is a self-created difficulty. All right. The mind is such a powerful tool, but when we use it to turn it against ourselves, we can really self-destruct pretty quickly. Like I was talking about with the paranoid thing earlier, that's a mind that is self-destructing because it's causing you to short circuit in this place of panic and fear. And it totally cuts off your connection to your heart, which is your vitality. And so Leo, I think the message for you here is to discern what's really a problem and what do you think is a problem. And generally, it's not a problem until it actually arises, and then you deal with it then. It's all of this pre-thinking that creates more problems than actually there are. So I hope that gives you some points to think about or some perspective shifts to consider. I do think this is a special magical time for you, and I do think that that special magic is going to continue. It's going to be transformed and transmuted into different ways, into different emotional states, so that you don't become stagnant and afraid of growing. Okay, I think this is all good, Leo. I think you've got everything you need. And I think that's where we're going to end the reading. So thank you so much for joining me. If you're looking for deeper guidance on your path, how to align your mind, body, and soul, please do get in touch, soulguidancewithAdriana.com, or link in the description below. And I look forward to seeing you soon.